Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Anthony, here to talk to you guys about the first season of Peacemaker. So there's going to be some spoilers in here, so if you haven't finished the first season of the Peacemaker, don't watch this video yet, but save it, put it in your watch later list, tab, whatever they have on YouTube, and come back to this after you're done. But here we go, guys. This is my review of the first season of Peacemaker. Let's talk about my expectations for this show going into it, the stuff I liked about it, the stuff I didn't like about it, and how I feel overall at the end of the first season. So going into the series, I was kind of lukewarm about it. I didn't really know what to expect about it. It's a character that I didn't like in the Suicide Squad. I'm like, he's the bad guy in the Suicide Squad. Why do I want to have a movie or TV show about him? So I was kind of like iffy about it. I didn't know if this was going to be good. And I gotta say, they did a good job. They blew my mind. They blew my mind. This is probably one of my favorite shows of the year. But even after the first couple episodes, I still had a worry about this show, because the character of Peacemaker, once you get into those first couple of episodes, they establish him and his story, and that is very tied with his father, who is probably the worst person on the world. He's a Nazi, white supremacist, everything evil that you can imagine. That's his father. And that kind of trickled down to Peacemaker, where some of the judgments, the decisions that he makes, and the things that he say come off as racist, misogynist, and is overall not good, right? Not cool. And I was worried that this show would just kind of not develop that and make Peacemaker as a character grow as he interacts with these really eclectic group of people. I mean, there's people of different walks of life all over the place. There's an alien, there's an eagle, there's a person of color, there's all this stuff around him, and I was afraid that he wasn't going to develop that. And my fears kind of were heightened or justified a little bit when they would have scenes where he gets emotional and he gets deep and he has a emotional conversation with some of the characters, and you can see that growth. But then literally the next couple scenes, he'll just revert back to that misogynist, racist kind of Peacemaker that we know. And while I think that the show does do a good job of kind of making that worry that I have of the character not progressing go away a little bit, this is still the first season and there's still traits of that, but I will say that we're headed into the right direction with the character. And speaking about characters, there's a lot of characters in here, and I feel like I like every single one, even though they are all freaking annoying. Vigilante probably being the most annoying one. I mean, we haven't even scratched the surface of this character, particularly at the last episode of the season. He does some things that I'm like, okay, you gotta explain it. It can't be just some random dude that loved Peacemaker, really wanted to be his friend, that's able to do all this stuff. We gotta get some more explanation in season 2. We also have Adebayo, who is, spoiler alert, the daughter of Amanda Waller, which, I mean, Amanda Waller is pretty much the most heartless person ever. Because why would you put your daughter, who doesn't really have that much training in, from what it seems like, into a very, very, very dangerous situation like this? But I mean, it's Amanda Waller, so I shouldn't be that surprised. But I thought Adebayo's character was really, really good. I love the relationship between her and Peacemaker. It's just kind of surprising that they made all these characters very, very relatable in their own way. Even with some characters who you kind of don't even like Economist, dye-beard dude, who is like kind of the guy that doesn't really want to be here. He's just like, I can't really do anything. I'm just a tech guy. Even they do some really cool things with his character, and you kind of, by the end of the show, you're like, I kind of like him. We have Eagly the Eagle, which, I mean, it's the cutest thing I've ever seen. I never thought I would say an eagle is cute, but they did it. James Gunn, you did it. Then you have Hardcore, her name is pretty much her character, She's very hardened. She doesn't want to express herself that much. But you even see with her character, she starts opening up and she sees all these characters as like a family to her. And I thought that was just really sweet and like wholesome. And it just makes you feel even more empathy when these characters get hurt or possibly, get killed off. Then you have a whole bunch of other characters like aliens and stuff all over the place. And I think they just did a good job with those characters. I will say that the one negative that I have in terms of the characters is the relationship between John Cena, you know, Peacemaker's character, and the White Devil, his dad. I didn't think that, at least in this first season, that they really resolved the big tension, the big issue with their two characters. And the big showdown that they have in episode 7, which I think is probably the weakest episode of the season, because it really is supposed to be a collision course between the two, between White Devil and John Cena. And I felt like we should have had a little bit more impact with their battle and with the death of the White Devil, but it kind of just comes out of nowhere. It kind of comes really, really quick, and there really isn't any resolution. Now, they're going to do this thing that I don't really like, and I don't know how I feel about going forward, where Peacemaker is going to see his dead dad and have conversations with him, and they're going to probably resolve that issue that way. I don't really like that. Maybe it can change, but I just felt like they had a big opportunity here. They set these two characters up, and then the way that they ended it was kind of flat. But let's talk about that cameo, though, at the end of episode 8, right? That was crazy. That was funny. I did like how they only had money for like Ezra Miller and Jason Momoa, and they're like, we don't want to show Henry Cavill because all the stuff that we have with him, and then Gal Gadot was probably filming like Death on the Nile or some shit. But overall, I thought that Peacemaker was a really fun and entertaining show. Even if you're not into the whole DC stuff, you've never seen Suicide Squad, you've never seen the Batman stuff, Aquaman, any of that stuff, I think this is a good starting off point, or a good jumping off point, or leaping point into the DCEU, which is kind of weird for me to say because I'm not really a big fan of the DCEU, but this stuff, you know, it's kind of funny that they took a guy that directed Marvel stuff, you know, James Gunn, and they put him in here and making stuff really better. You could see that the things, you know, the DCEU maybe be opening up a little bit, maybe be good, you know, with this Suicide Squad, Batman, maybe we're gonna have something here. But guys, let me know what you think of Peacemaker Season 1 in the comments down below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Which were your favorite characters? I did hear that James Gunn wants to make another series with another character from the Suicide Squad. What character do you want that to be? King Shark? You know, Ratcatcher number 2? You know, who? Also guys, don't forget to check out my Twitter so you can stay up to date with my channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember guys, keep watching movies.